Despite the challenges of climate change and rising production costs, Guyana's rice farmers continue to demonstrate their commitment and determination, producing increasingly more paddy per acre, utilizing the new high-yielding varieties being engineered by the GRDB's research station. But there is a small percentage of Guyana's 6,000-odd rice farmers who have continued to realize comparatively low yields, approximately 1,000 of them, some of whom get as low as 20 to 25 bags per acre, way below the break-even number of 28 bags per acre. Soon after taking over the reins of the agriculture sector, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa had signaled his intention to double current rice production levels by 2025. One of the measures announced to realize this goal was to have the GRDB work with the nation's poor-performing farmers in order to have their yields brought up to par with those of other farmers. The initial number of farmers included in the pilot project was 34, most of whom are now reporting significantly higher yields. According to Minister Mustafa, the results being enjoyed by the targeted group of farmers augurs well for the national effort at bringing down the cost of production while improving production and productivity of the sector. He is assured that the program will be expanded to include all the nation's low-yielding farmers.
And we'll expand it across the country because our objective is to increase production in every single area. So when a farmer would have increased his yield, that will help us to increase our production level. And with the demands that we are having now, we are having new markets coming on stream in the rice sector. We have to up our game. We have seen that the GRDB 16 that we have launched, a new variety, is doing well. We were able to move production from 39 bags per acre to about between 55 to 60 bags per acre. And some farmers are saying that they are getting more. Right? Our aim is to bring down the cost of production and increase yield, more production. As you rightly said, we are working with those low-yielding farmers, and we will not do it in one part of the country. What I asked them to do, that we should have now a database of these low-yielding farmers across the country so that we can target them to do better agriculture practices to enhance production. And we'll work with them to enhance it. As I said, that these field schools will continue. We'll do this year, I am hoping that we will do a number of field schools across the country where that farmers will share experiences and also benefit from the kind of technical advice that we will be giving out to these areas. When you go around the country now, I don't know, as a freelancer, you have been involved in agriculture in terms of doing these programs in a number of areas. You see the kind of interest that is there right now moving in all the sector. Right? Sometimes people want to get into rice production, cash crop production, livestock production, all the sector they want to get into. So that is the kind of attitude I want to see. That is the kind of interest I want to see, and I think that this augurs well for us as a country moving forward.
Spearheading the interventions with the low-yielding farmers in the pilot group was Deputy General Manager of the GRDB, Mr. Kuldip Ragnot. He explained that failure to follow the 6 points to a successful harvest, as promoted by the entity, has been at the root of the low yields being realized by the farmers.
Over the past season, the board has been working with these farmers who are obtaining low yields. And when we are talking about low yields, it refers to those farmers who have traditionally, or for the past couple of years, are receiving less than 25 bags per acre. Mind you, this can be region specific, meaning that 25 bags per acre in one region can very well be, well, a low yield, but in other regions the low yields can be as much as less than 30 bags per acre. So it depends on the region, because some of the regions, the yields are traditionally higher than the other regions. So it's more region specific. But in our context, we are using less than 25 bags per acre. And the reason why we're doing this is because, like you mentioned, we want to bring the yields up of those farmers, because obviously in the overall average of the country, those farmers who are obtaining these yields would bring down the overall average. But more importantly, these farmers, if they continue to perform in this manner, they will at some point in time go out of cultivation, because cost of production is we know what it is, but it's high. But you wouldn't want their their income or their yields to be less than their costs. Obviously, in that situation, they will go out of business. So the board, together with the Ministry of Agriculture, would want to see these farmers continue to grow rice. They are farmers who, for almost all of their life, has been doing this job, and therefore we wouldn't want to see them, going out of business. So it's our duty to bring these farmers on board, to get them to improve on what they're doing, to provide the technical support to these farmers to ensure that they improve. So what are the areas that we are working on? Now we have varieties that has very high potential, and we also have the management, which we all know, the 6 points practice, and now it's being called the improved management practices. But basically, they're the 6 improved management practices. So we do have the varieties that has the potential to give very high yields, and also the improved management. We have seen that farmers who would have applied or adopted the improved management with these new varieties, they have excellent yields, as much as 60 bags per acre. So these practices, we want those farmers to adopt them as well, because for the most part we know that they are not doing it, and that's the reason why they're not getting the kind of yields, barring there might be some other issues like crop protection, not using the right quality seeds and so. But overall, it's the practice that, or the way how they are managing the rice or how they are growing the rice, and that's the area where we are focusing on, to get them to incorporate these practices in the growing of the crop. We have had excellent results with the farmers who we have worked with over the last season or so. We worked with about 34 farmers, and we have seen their yields improving by as much as 5 to 7 bags per acre. This is a lot compared to what they have been receiving before. So it's showing that once you can adopt these practices, once you can grow your rice in a very scientific way, using the improved varieties, and having the management of it being done in the right way, this will allow these varieties them to realize their real potential.
According to the GRDB official, the high-yielding potential of varieties such as the GRDB 15 and 16 will never be realized if farmers do not engage in the basic practices that ensure that conditions are optimized for the full yield potential to be had. He singled out the sourcing of quality seed and applying the correct seed rate when sowing, and ensuring proper nutrition management, etc. According to Mr. Ragnott, it is now a question of do or die. Farmers either do what is necessary to increase their yields to economically feasible levels, or be forced to give up rice cultivation.
So our focus at the board here is to, as much as possible, get all these farmers on board with the improved management. And we have seen that. We have seen over the years, the majority of farmers in the industry are adopting these improved management practices. It's just that these few that we have now that we have to bring on board. Because if we look at the cost of production, we will see now, especially for this crop, the cost of production has actually gone up, and that's because of fertilizer prices and input prices and so. So in order for a farmer to break even, he has to get at least 28 bags per acre. That's just to break even. So what I'm saying is that if a farmer gets 28 bags per acre now, he won't be making any money. He's just covering his costs. So he has to get above that. With these low yielding farmers, when you look at the numbers at their yields, we can definitely say that they are subsidizing their cultivation, meaning that they're getting income from some other activity and supplementing their rice production. So unless we work with them, unless we give them kind of the necessary guidance and support, based on those numbers, you will see that they will definitely not able to continue planting rice in the future. Like I mentioned earlier, we don't want to see that happen. And the first season was very successful. We continue to work with these farmers. We have those farmers who we worked with the last season, and we have new farmers that we have brought on board for this season to continue to work with them as well. So the aim of this project, if you wanted to put it that way, is to ensure that these farmers receive the necessary guidance, the necessary support from the GRDB and the Ministry of Agriculture, thereby allowing them to improve their productivity and their production as well, and to ensure that the income is increased.
The GRDB's Deputy General Manager stressed that the entire premise of a successful crop begins with the sourcing of quality seed paddy.
Clean seed and quality seed contributes to about 10 to 15% increase in yield, just using clean seeds alone. So right away, we can see that those farmers, one of the things that contributed to their low yield or decrease in production is because they were not using clean seeds. And if I can go back and illustrate or highlight what the 6 points are, we will see how important, how critical clean seeds and germinable seeds or quality seeds is important to this program. Because in the 6 points program, we talk about time of sowing. Well, and I don't want to go through the whole all these factors now. But it's time of sowing, it's seed rate, and that's using a moderate seed rate, and seed treatment, weed control, nutrition, and water management. So coming back to the seed, in this improved management, when we talk about seed, we are talking here about clean seeds. Quality seeds, seed that has over 80% germination, because traditionally farmers are accustomed to use very, very high seed rates, meaning 160 pounds, 180 pounds per acre. In this improved management, we're talking about 100 to 120 pounds per acre, maximum 140 pounds of clean seeds per acre. Now, if we don't have quality seed, clean seed, and seed that meet the requirements, the over 80% germination, definitely if you're going to use these lower seed rates and it's not germinating, it does not have the quality in terms of purity. It therefore means that your plant population will be way less than what it's supposed to be, and obviously the yield will not be there, and also the production will not be there. So seed is that's the foundation. Seeds are the foundation, or high quality seeds are the foundation of a successful crop.
Another aspect of the interventions for the low-yielding farmers was the provision of soil tests to analyze and determine the composition of the farmer's cultivation, and so be able to provide whatever is needed.
What it tells you what are the deficiencies in the soil, what nutrients are lacking in the soil for proper plant growth. So you take the sample, you have it analyzed, and the results will indicate what nutrients are deficient in the soil. Also, it can tell you what nutrition, what elements are in quantities that is not desired by the plant. So we can have deficiency, we can also have toxicity. toxicity is not good for the plant as well. But the soil test give you a good idea as to what the plant requires. Well, we know what the plant requires, but it tells you what are deficient, and therefore what you have to do to supplement or in order to meet the needs or the requirements of the plant. So once we have that, and this is where we have to start. We have to be more informed. We're starting from an informed position in terms of nutrition. If we don't do a soil test, you're basically guessing, and that is what you don't want to do, because each plot will, because the practices are different by the farmers, they will, in terms of fertilizer application, the soil test result will differ. You know, some farmers actually, they say they can use their neighbor's plot or the neighbor's recommendation for their plot. Sometimes it works, but we have to bear in mind that the neighbor practice might be different, and therefore his soil test results can be different, and you can be guided in the wrong direction there if you use his results.
I took my cameras to the rice growing regions of the country for a first hand account of the improved yields being enjoyed by the low yielding farmers who are part of the Ministry of Agriculture's Yield Improvement Project.
I am from Sandford, West Kanji Bodies, and I'm cultivating this crop 150 acres of land. Previously, we did around 2 something to 3, but after the flood, we had to resort to moving down and then stepping up again. Right? The yield for us is around practically now about 29 to 30 bags. We hope that some measures that were being implemented, we hope to get about 32 to 33 bags in this upcoming crop. Well, in terms of the fertilizing application, right, and the drying of the field, when we apply the fertilizer, we never used to do that before because of the water system, right, and we are still playing with some irrigation and drainage system, but we're trying to work the best of our ability with the resources that we have in terms of working towards what GRDB would want us to come to. We were taught about the 6-point project, but we have not implemented as yet due to some technical situations and so.
Well, it was very much poor. Well, it was poor, and then I get to work with Miss Luan, and she encouraged me to do a 6-point thing. But then she had to explain the 6-point to me, and the crop gone. There, I was lucky. I got 30, about 37 bags per acre. Yeah, because before then I was cutting I was within the 20s, 29, 28, 27, around there. So she encouraged me, she worked along with me, and she let me, well, I bought seedling from them, and she told me it was the recommended seed, pound 120, 100 to 120, and I had to sow within May the 15th to June the 30th, and in the November the 15th to December the 31st.
On this plot, generally I used to cut close to 400 bags. I used to, but the 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 crop just prior to the trial crop, I cut like 22 bags per acre. You understand? The trial give 38 bags. The trial give 38 bags per acre. So the trial was fruitful.
But what did you do different than you normally do under the guidance of GRDB?
Um, well, all the practices that GRDB has, the water management, seed rate, timing, all these practices, I try to stick to the practices, all the management practices. I try to stick to these practices, and this is what is helping you to increase the yield.
So before this low yielding program started, how much bags per acre you used to get?
Say like 25 bags.
And with the intervention of the extension officer, how much bags you currently getting?
Get more than 5.
Before we started this program with farmers with low yield, how much paddy you used to harvest per acre before?
Before, like 15, 20,
Okay, and how much paddy you getting now after the program?
and like 30, 35 around that.
My yield used to be low, and since I make the extension officer satisfactory, I start get couple bags per acre more. My yield firstly was be like 28 to 30 bags per acre. After that, for 2 crops now, I meet Mr. Sokram, and he told me what to do. Because I was applying the fertilizer at a late stage, and after that, my yield rise from 33 to 35 bags per acre.
All right. So in terms of you're getting 15 bags extra.
Yeah, 15, yeah.
What does it mean for your pocket?
Well, my pocket, it means a lot in my pocket. Yes,
Me get this rice field, used to get very low yield. And 2 crop, by now, we get 28 bag a acre. And from 28, we work with the GRDB. By them, we get 31 bag a acre.
All the farmers we spoke with have encouraged all other low-yielding farmers to adopt the GRDB 6 points to a successful crop. In the meantime, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has indicated that his ministry will be extending the interventions to all low-yielding farmers, with a view ultimately to have a uniform yield across the country.